Again, record. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Dr. Jana Walser-Smith. I am the Director of Interstate Compliance and Member Outreach here at the State Authorization Network, or SAN, as we are affectionately known. And today we have the pleasure of welcoming the Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University team. Embry-Riddle is located in Daytona, Florida, and they are a 2025 recipient of the SANsational Award in the location category. And that category just encompasses winners who identify where their students are located while taking distance education courses or doing practicums, internships, etc. And they meet the federal mandate and the regulations for reporting the location information. So again, Embry-Riddle met that mandate, met that challenge, and is a recipient of the 2025 SANsational Awards. The title of their project and the project that wowed the awards committee is Automating Accountability, Dynamic Enrollment Agreements for State Level Compliance. But before we get into a lot about the project, I want to talk just a little bit about the SANsational Awards and how they came into existence. So these awards were really born in 2015. And so we're 10 years strong. And it was, thought to be an annual award to recognize really outstanding efforts by member institutions and organizations when they have developed high quality and comprehensive solutions to, these challenging distance education compliance issues that we face every day. So now SAN likes to applaud, or we like to celebrate the creativity, the vision, et cetera, that these organizations show when they have addressed these issues. The projects that we look at on an annual basis underscore the fact that institutions, organizations not only understand the state and federal regulatory compliance requirements, but that they have conceptualized this and they've put processes into place on their respective campuses so that they can mobilize those students and faculty alike at their campuses to develop procedures designed to support learners. And again, that's what this is all about, learner support. So with that being stated, it is without further ado that I introduce my friends, and I can say these are my friends at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. We've got Caitlin Nelson, who leads the team, and Danielle Ferris, and also Nicole Wallace. Ladies, I am turning this over to you.
Thank you, Jana. We're excited to be joining you again. My name is Caitlin Nelson. I'm the Director of State Authorizations and Institutional Integrity with Embry-Riddle. I'll have Danielle and Nicole introduce themselves, and then we'll keep talking with you.
I'm Nicole Wallace. I'm an Associate Director of State Authorizations here at Embry-Riddle. Let's see, I've been with the team just over 3 years now. And this has been a big part of that journey. So we're excited to talk about it.
And my name is Danielle Ferris, and I am the Associate Director of Institutional Integrity and Insights. And I have been with Embry-Riddle for just over 3 years, with the team for just over 2 now.
Thank you. So we'll kind of open and just talk a little bit about our institution and kind of our overview. So we have over 100 sites, that's US and international. We are authorized in 28 states. So, we try to find a lot of our friends within state auth who, have a similar setup as us. Unfortunately, but fortunately for us, we do not do licensure. So that's, I think, a big piece too within this, location realm and all of that. So we'll hopefully be able to give maybe some tips on that. But, this is kind of, I think, a different view of location, from an institution also that doesn't do licensure. So we have a very big military presence. So again, part of the location piece, very, very important. We have a lot of online programs, again, both US and international. And in the I would say last year we had over 10,000 students, taking our courses. So over 100 degree programs and then about 29 certificates. So, compliance challenge. So, as we talked about, location, location, location. That's something that is on all of our minds within the state auth realm and the it depends and what can you do and all of these questions, right, that we all deal with. So, one of the big things, first and foremost, is where are these students at? Where are they taking courses, especially for an institution like us that where we authorized in so many different states and we have to keep up those authorizations and have so many different requirements. But definitely military and obviously online. And shout out to NC Sarah making that a little bit easier for us on that. But the biggest piece of this too, which Nicole is going to go over and is something that we've really put a lot of work into with our best friend Bonnie over in IT, is what happens after these students are moving. And, we can say that we definitely had a little bit of a gap in that, right? And I think we have new requirements, and then we're able to say, oh, we need to update our process a little bit. So we were able to kind of update things and tweak our procedures and processes, and in tune hope to help show a little bit within our enrollment agreement. So also, again, with this, we had a growing number of, sorry, Danielle, a growing number of states that have required that enrollment agreement piece. So really, we have been able to benefit from our process being in place and then being able to essentially say, oh, we have another state that we can implement this. So we're able to use it a little bit more now. So I will kick it over to Nicole, and she can as she mentioned, she has done amazing work on this piece and a lot of behind the scenes. So we thank her, and she'll be a big help with this.
Thank you, Caitlin. Yes, this has definitely been a huge part of my job responsibilities here since joining the State Auth team. So yes, this was born maybe a little before our time in this office, but it really didn't get going until I think all of us kind of got here. So we really have seen it from its, at least the starting to implement to now. It did come originally, I think, from a California agreement requirement. No surprise there. California loves to have all the extra requirements. No problem. And then we saw a bunch of other states, like Caitlin said, that now are requiring these enrollment agreements. So we said, well, we need to make sure we have these ready to go. And so we said, why not just do all 50? So it's basically a template. Almost all 50 are the same, other than California. So California is its own thing. That's not changing. We're not messing with it. California tells us what needs to be in there. Great. But the other ones, they can fluctuate and they can change a little bit, but they're based on kind of a templated system where we can then kind of change some things in, and we'll go over that. But for just the initial delivery, we launched that in 2022. You apply, you're admitted to a specific program, these enrollment agreements, pull information from that program, including costs, credit hours, and then it, references it against the state you've listed as your home address. So then it also lists any state-specific grievance policies, or should there be any differing refund or withdrawal policies, really so that students, before they enroll, have all this information ready to go. We thought, great, here we go. We did it. Initial enrollment. We all got your enrollment agreements. We're off and running. And then we said, well, wait a minute. We know students move so much. Our military students are always on the move. And we thought, wait a minute, whoops, we didn't have a thing in place to catch them. So back to Bonnie. Bonnie is our IT person here, works mostly with our campus solutions, which is our student information system. And she's got a beautiful mind. This woman just knows everything, knows how to do anything in the system. So if you need any help, get yourself a Bonnie, telling you that. But no, it's a lot of, working with her and figuring out like, okay, well, now that we need to have a process that if a student moves states, we need to catch them. So she was able to work her magic in the behind the scenes so that now when a student changes their address in our system, the system flags it. And every night it runs a process and does a check to see, does a student have that state's enrollment agreement? We actually are working on another change coming up here that'll kind of cross-reference it on the program too, because we're always trying to find ways to make it better. But for this one, it was just a matter of making sure we knew students, where students were located and they had the right state enrollment agreement. So, yep, the system finds when it checks when they change the state, they go ahead and cancel if it's an enrollment agreement that isn't completed. They take it off, the system takes it off, puts in a new one, the student signs it, good to go. Jump right into classes. And it's just been such a game changer to catch all these students because it just it wasn't a fully fledged out process before. It would be impossible to ask advisors to continually check for address changes. And there are many state requirements that need them. So this automated process definitely helped bump us up in compliance and make sure everyone's getting what they need to know. And this is where I said, so it's kind of a template. They all kind of look the same, except there is a couple pages that we left specifically for these states that have specific grievance policies. So we always want the students to know that, they're welcome to come to us. Then they have other options as well. Once they exhaust that, they can go to the state. Once they exhaust that, they can go here. So we always want to spell it out and let students know what their options are. We hope they don't need them, but want them to know. And so then the other big thing was, well, since some of these students are moving to states that require enrollment agreements, we launched them for all 50. So there are plenty of states out there that they're not required, but we still wanted to provide that information to the students. So they're optional, students can complete them, but it's not holding them back. But now for the, I think, 9 states that require enrollment agreements, there's a hold. So that nightly process, it's built so that they change that address, the new one's added, and a hold is now placed on their account, but they cannot do any further registrations or enrollments until they complete that enrollment agreement, because that is a setup with the state. So we need to make sure they're completing those in a timely manner. And yeah, this has just made it so much easier. We're not mailing around manual forms to be submitted. We're not, having to keep checklists and spreadsheets. It's just all within their student information system that they use daily. Task pops up, they do it, and it's all set. And yeah, again, just keeping students advised on what their rights and responsibilities are in all of our policies. So it's really been great. I think it's always nice to give students as much information as possible. Now, if they read it, that's up to them. But hey, we try to give it to you to help you out. And I'll go ahead and let Danielle take over.
All right. So kind of just a little bit repeating what Caitlin and Nicole said. This process really kind of shifted our focus from being reactive to proactive. So instead of reacting to find that some of these students moved and we didn't have an enrollment agreement for a state that required the enrollment agreement, we now are able to catch that prior to kind of being in an audit or doing our renewal, anything like that, we are able to catch it. So yeah, it just allowed us to kind of automate this and not make it a manual process. Like Nicole said, it would be impossible for advising to have to track all of these address changes. So because we love Bonnie and she was able to do this, it is now an automated thing and it checks everything. It triggers the correct agreement. So we are now in compliant with all of our students moving, especially again, like Caitlin said, we have a lot of military. So there's going to be those constant moves. This project was very much cross-department collaboration. It took our office, continuous improvement, IT, campus solutions, all of these departments together to kind of develop not only the template but just the process in itself. So each team had its own little gear or puzzle piece here in this process, and it did come together, and now it's just something that we are able to trust that we're going to catch all of these students changing their address and moving. So yeah, with that, we truly kind of innovated this together as all these teams were able to collaborate. And it just kind of shows that we are able to kind of enhance and strengthen that accountability with compliance, and students move and compliance moves with them. So yeah, with that, I'll let Caitlin and Nicole add anything, and we'll open it up for questions.
I was just going to add that, it's always kind of a work in progress because things always change, requirements change. We just found out recently a new state added where they're now requiring the enrollment agreement. So our Bonnie has just made it easier. And some of this is in the IT world that I don't fully understand because that's outside of my brain space. But she understands it and sets it up. She said, well, now I have it. It's a table. As soon as you have a new one, we just add the state and it's easy. It's no longer updating each individual process. So Bonnie, you're a dream come true. But no, this definitely took a lot of collaboration. And with part departments that we didn't even really excuse me, originally think about, like student financial services. But if we're reporting money and payment policies and refund, then they absolutely should be included in this discussion. And we actually just kind of had a little verbiage update and we circulated it around and said who has any comments or concerns, because we just always want to make sure it's up to date. So even though this process has been in place since 2022, I think every year we've made a big update that's just making it more accurate, more in line with all of the compliance requirements. And who knows what we'll have to do next.
Caitlin, did you want to add?
I was just going to touch a little bit, and Nicole kind of just pointed out, I think this is a really good way to kind of remind ourselves that there is a lot of stakeholders involved. So being fully transparent, we just kind of had a whole, almost like an oopsie. I think when this enrollment agreement, like we mentioned, it kind of started before all of us were here, mainly started because of the California EA, and then, other states kind of needed it. So we've shifted and adopted a separate template for everyone else. But there was quite a few departments. And again, I think just turnover and natural progression throughout
Hmm.
the university that they didn't really know about the document until, students kind of had questions on it too. So it was kind of a nice check for us as well to say, okay,
Hmm.
so we're going to have a working group here. We're going to kind of bring everybody together. And when there's updates, we're going to tell you, but there is a lot of things that we can't change. So here's what we can do for you, and here's what we can't. So I think it was a good learning experience for everybody for them to learn a little bit more about all the things that we have to include and what we're trying to balance, and then also obviously what they are being on that student facing side. So it was a little like, oh no, at first, but it ended up, I think, really being a blessing to kind of bring us all back together.
Perfect. So remind me again from onset to implementation, how long was that? Because I know a lot of you weren't on the team yet.
Well, I mean, we launched, the whole process in, I believe, July 2022, so around
2.
that
Hmm.
summer. And
Hmm.
then, I mean, hey, we're all in the same world here. We're all doing our best. We'll be honest, I think it was a year later when we found out, uh-oh, we aren't catching some of those students when they move. So
Okay.
then that was when we immediately threw an audit. We said, oh, we need to make sure this is happening. And
Okay.
I think it did probably take longer than usual, but it's
That's
it's turnover sometimes. The IT team, they were
yeah,
down. They didn't have enough
right.
people, to help out. So I think
Understand.
it definitely took at least 6, 8 months to get this change
Okay.
tested and in the works. But it's just going to depend on, your university and the people you have able to work on it because this
Hmm.
this was a huge behind the scene process. Like I said, I don't fully understand all the IT SQLs and logics and
Hmm.
things,
Hmm.
but she runs them by me, and I say that makes sense, and let's test it. And yeah, it's so it could be a little timely, but if you have a dedicated person that can jump on this,
Right.
you know, just depends.
Hmm.
It depends. It's our favorite saying.
Okay, Russ. Well, good. I'm glad you said that because, my next question was going to be, one of the things that you're graded on when you submit, when you self-nominate, is the ability for other institutions to be able to replicate this process. I think I know where you're going to go. But if you were advising another institution who wanted to implement something like this, where would you recommend they start?
I mean, obviously get yourself a Bonnie. No, but IT in
I
general,
knew that.
anyone who's over your student information system. We work at
Mhm.
Campus Solutions. I know there's so many out there, but there has to be something. I mean, all these systems have usually abilities to put holds or tasks and create to-do lists. So there's something in there. It's just finding the right person
Mhm.
within your own team that understands your system, understands your university, and understands what needs to be done. And I know there are so many IT professionals out there that can do this no matter what they're working with. So it's really just a matter of working with your team,
Mhm.
understanding what you want to come of it, and then keep working until you find the right person who can help you figure it out.
Caitlin, you were coming off. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna start off too, because we always just like we love Bonnie, you guys, and she gets a lot of the credit for this too.
Why
But
didn't
yeah,
she go
I
out to
think
eat
it's
with us?
yeah, we did want her to come, but yeah, she couldn't come. She
Okay.
couldn't make it. But
Okay.
yep.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, this has been really, really interesting. And again, the nominating or the selection committee really, really loved many aspects of this project. So I just want to say, you guys just keep up the good work because remember, you're a two-peat, so you want a three-peat, right? So keep up the good work. This was an excellent project, and we appreciate you all coming on and sharing with us.
We
Thank
appreciate you, Jana.
you.
Yes, thank you.